Hi there again, Michael Sipe, COO of the Strategic Advisor Board and owner of Sipe Coaching and Consulting, where I help executives find that elusive work-life balance. On today's episode of Empowered Leadership, we are going to be talking about energy level 3 of the 7 energy levels and how they show up in business. Now, you might recall when I'm talking about energy, I'm talking about the thoughts we think, the emotions attached to those thoughts, and then the corresponding behaviors or actions we might take. All right. Now, there are two types of energy, right? There's the positive, the anabolic kind of energy, and then there's the catabolic, the negative kind of energy. And so the first two we talked about, level 1 and level 2, are those negatives. Now we're getting into level 3, which is the more anabolic type of energy. And again, remember that for the energy that we're talking about here, we fluctuate through these levels throughout the day and throughout a longer period of time. But here's the inside baseball. The fact is that companies that perform well, that have higher profitability, have an overall higher energy level. And when I'm talking about energy, I'm talking about the type of energy, not the amount. So on level 3 here, when we're talking about the type of energy, we're talking about level 3 where the core thought is one of responsibility. And then the emotion that's typically associated with that is one of forgiveness of ourselves or forgiveness of our individuals around us that we're a part of in a team. And then the action associated with level 3 is one of typically cooperation. So this is that sort of I win, and if you win too, that's great. And we typically try and find and focus on the positive or the silver lining in maybe a negative situation. So what happens there is, here's an example of how that might show up. So let's say that you're a business owner, a CEO, and you're about to woo and land a client for a contract that's worth about $2 million. So it's a pretty big deal for your small business. So you've got one of your employees, one of your top performers coming in to make a pitch for what you guys are trying to win in form of a contract. Well, in the process of giving the pitch, your employee has clearly made some incorrect information available to the prospective buyers. So up in front of everybody at the presentation is some incorrect numbers, and it's suddenly identified and it's clearly a mistake. And so one has to correct that in front of our potential buyers. Well, turns out that even though the pitch went kind of well on everything else, that one error was big enough that end up not getting that contract. The client declined to sign. And so as a level 3 type response, we might think, our employee was under a lot of stress. And so they obviously made a mistake, because normally they wouldn't make that mistake. And so that's how we might be tolerable or use a coping mechanism to deal with an adverse situation. Now, this is all great, but sometimes the challenge with level 3 is we may not address underlying issues. So when we rationalize our own performance or rationalize our company's performance, we may not actually be dealing with the problem really at hand that's under the surface. So it's a good way to break out of the fight or flight mode at level 1 or level 2 there. And it's a sense of responsibility, but it's not the most elevated. And so we really need to be aware of the other energy levels. So we're going to cover those in the next one. All right, hope this level 3 energy level was of interest to you. And if you liked the video, please click the like button below. And don't forget to subscribe to the Strategic Advisor Board channel if you haven't already. Lots of great videos there. And then if you want to learn more about energy leadership, you can visit my website at sipecoaching.com, where you can get a lot more detail about how to implement a higher level energy in your business. All right, thanks for watching.